event called Celebrating the Fruit of AIP at Kamuzu Palace in Lilongwe on Tuesday. Chakwera says it is clear that this year's harvest will be the largest ever, which translates to a happy farmer. Chakwera has urged people across the country to be responsible and store enough food before selling, so that the government should not be providing affordable farm inputs and later provide food to the same people. Voting has concluded in polling stations where by-elections were being held in Lilongwe, Zomba, Karonga, Shikwawa, Nsanje, Balaka, Nchisi, and Mulanje districts. In Nchisi, our reporter Taonga Sabola is covering the by-elections. In Nchisi North constituency fell vacant following death of Jacqueline Chikuta, who died in January.
So far, the elections here in Nchisi North constituency have gone on smoothly. We are without any major incidences to around 5 o'clock in the evening. Voting is still continuing and is expected to end at around 6 o'clock when everything is supposed to be counted. So the people of Nchisi constituency know who has won the seat to parliament. What I can say is that the turnout has been a bit moderate. In some areas it has been impressive, while in other areas it has been a bit weak. Talking to the National Initiative for Civic Education, that's the Executive Director, Oren Maroon, what he's saying is that he is impressed with how the elections have been conducted by the Malawi Electoral Commission. Maroon just says the maker has managed to make sure that it sticks to the preventive measures in as far as COVID-19 prevention is concerned. So, according to him, what he's saying is that the mayor has done a good job on that side. However, he also pointed out that I think something needed to be done in as far as ensuring that more people come to cast their vote. However, when we were talking to him, it was around 4 o'clock, so we are still monitoring the situation to see if at all maybe the turnout will improve.
And in Lilongwe, in Sinja South, our reporter Audrey Kapalamuna spoke to the Chief Elections Officer Sama Ofandika, who explains some of the COVID-19 preventive measures the Commission had put in place.
We have been mindful of the fact that we are having this whole process under the COVID-19 pandemic. And as Malawi Electoral Commission, we have made sure that we work to protect our workers as well as the voters. As you can see today, every voter who is coming to participate in the voting process is receiving a face mask, is washing hands or is sanitizing before getting onto the voting queue. This is something that we have arranged to ensure that we prevent the voters from getting or catching the COVID-19.
Let us now cross over to Nsanje, where our reporter Jameson Chauluka, who is in Nsanje Central, where by-elections were held after the High Court nullified the results of the May 2019 parliamentary elections. Francis Kasaira of the Democratic Progressive Party was declared winner.
Voting was generally peaceful in most of the polling centers, apart from maybe one polling center. This is Chilima Primary School, where voting earlier in the day, especially in the morning, was suspended for 2 hours or so because of some misunderstandings between a political party loyalists. There were accusations and counter-accusations between the DVB and MCP camps that these camps were stopping people from choosing candidates of their choice. It took Commissioner Arthur to come in and go the situation, and also more police officers to be called from Nsanje Boma. But other than that, it's been peaceful, especially on the voting day, because on Monday night, we understand there were elements of violence where a vehicle belonging to Malawi Congress Party Shadow Member of Parliament Nkhani was smashed, and also he himself claiming that he was assaulted. But other than that, this has been a peaceful election. This has been an economic and emotionally charged election. We were told in the day that the police, in fact, had arrested 3 people. Sanje police officer in charge, Selemani Mtambo, confirmed the arrest, but kept other details under wraps, saying investigations were going on.
And Thomas Kachari is in Chikwawa East, where the High Court nullified results of the parliamentary election, where Esther Mcheka was declared winner. Thomas gives a roundup of the day.
The snapshot in most polling centers in Chikwawa East show that the voting process has been smooth as expected. Voting process started in time, despite having no turnout in any hour of the voting process. By 10 a.m., most of the polling centers were receiving large turnouts, which eventually dropped in the late afternoon. And one of the presiding officers from Chacha polling station, Clement Kabu, described the whole process as successful, adding that it has not been faced with serious challenges. 6 candidates are contesting for the position of Member of Parliament for Chikwawa East.
And up Karonga Northwest, Bernard Mahone gives a roundup of the day.
Yeah, as already stated in the morning that it started with rains here in Karonga Northwest constituency. This greatly affected the voting exercise. But in the afternoon, it was sunny, but still more, mostly in Karonga, bear in mind that recently we had by elections in Karonga Central, which is just shares boundary with the Karonga Northwest constituency. And we should also maybe tell the Malawians that the Karonga Northwest constituency is the biggest constituency, as it has 53,000 voters, and again has 8 candidates, of which 5 of them have voted and 3 are independent candidates. So far we have not registered maybe any aggressors in most states, but at the moment now voting counting has started in the polling centers.
And Malawi Electoral Commission Make Chairperson Chifundo Kachali has decried some violent acts in some constituencies where the electoral body was conducting by-elections. He made the remarks at St. Anthony polling station in Zomba, where he conceded that Make received reports of incidents of violent acts in some constituencies. Kachali, however, expressed satisfaction with the turnout of voters in most polling centers, describing it as impressive. He spoke to our reporter T.S. Munjeza earlier in the day and comments on incidents of violence.
Of any such arrests, but we are aware, like in the Sinja South, there were some party operatives who erected a roadblock monitoring all the vehicles moving into the constituency. The police have been alerted and they're moving in to actually quell that situation. In Sanje Central, we have one center where the polls had to be suspended a bit because there were threats of violence. Again, the police have been invited and we're confident that they will resolve the situation. In Karonga, there are heavy rains and we are informed that because of that, voter turnout is a bit lower than anticipated. We hope as the day goes, the situation will improve. So overall, the general picture is that everything across the country is progressing very well. Where there are possible challenges, the interventions are being activated to ensure that nothing will happen that can actually interfere with the safety and security of the voters as they come out to cast their votes.
Meanwhile, the National Initiative for Civic Education, NICE, has described Tuesday's by-elections held across the country as generally peaceful. Speaking in Nchisi North constituency, NICE Executive Director Olen Malunju said the voting was orderly and without many worrying elements. Malunju thanked the Malawi Electoral Commission for ensuring that COVID-19 preventive measures were observed during voting. UNICEF has called on the National Planning Commission, NPC, to include child rights in the implementation of the Malawi 2063 Development Agenda. UNICEF Chief Protection Officer Christina Westland said this on Tuesday at the opening of the capacity training for various government ministries in Lilongwe. The Commission's Director for Development Planning, Grace Kunchulesi, concurred with Westland that there is need to include children in the creation of worth and self-reliance vision. She speaks to our reporter, Matthias Kasanda.
The Malawi 2063 vision is a youth-centric vision. And we are planning long enough to think to provide a prosperous future, or to assure a prosperous future for our children, including the future generation. So it's really about making sure that we are providing the rights for the children, to make sure that they are also included in this inclusive wealth creation and self-reliant vision. That is the reason why we are having this training. And this training couldn't have come at a better place than this, where we are now developing, or we are coordinating.
Construction company has built a house worth 5 million kwacha. The house was handed over to her by Minister of Gender and Social Welfare, Patricia Kaliati, on behalf of the company. Gary Samati has the details.
Elube Maliro, an 80-year-old woman based in Neno, used to live in a thatched house. Her life was routed in poverty. She says she would be soaked in the rain while sleeping in the house. Her situation was subsequently brought to the attention of Milolo Construction Company by the Minister of Gender and Social Welfare, Patricia Kaliati, and the house has been built for Maliro. While receiving the keys for the house, she explains other challenges she faces as an elderly woman.
I faced a number of challenges. I didn't have a good shelter. Furthermore, I faced problems trying to find food. I work in the fields at times just to find something to eat. I'm grateful to everyone who was involved in building this house for me to live in while I'm still alive.
Minister of Gender, Patricia Kaliati, explains that the Managing Director of Milolo Construction, Louis Mvalo, reached out to her ministry, expressing interest to build a house for the vulnerable.
Mr. Mvalo wanted to support us for a house in Machinga where there's all the children are disabled, but now we knew that that house is being constructed with others. Then we had to ask him to come to this area to support this elderly person. He's a woman whereby he doesn't have even a daughter or a son. All the children passed on. He's having, is it 5 grandchildren, where we need to look into it and how best we are going to support them, especially in terms of education. So Mr. Mvalo, that's the Milolo Construction, has given us this house to Madam Elube Maliro, the one who's been looking for a house for a number of years.
Mvalo says Milolo Construction Company has a goal of using 5% of its profits for charity works.
A youthful activist and aspiring politician, Pempero Mpande, has launched a book titled What You See at Sunrise. During the launch, Mpande invited a number of notable guests, including renowned writer Tiambe Zereza, well known for writing the book as Smothering Charcoal. After the launch, Mpande spoke to our reporter Gary Samati.
I was a bit nervous because these guys, when you talk about, Rakeni Penga, Professor Penga Mpande, my father, Tiambe Zereza, they're good writers, and they've written a book and they've said some.
In international news, before the pandemic hit, 82% of clinics in the landlocked southern African nation of Eswatini lacked hot running water. That has changed in the last 6 months with the installation of solar-powered water heaters in every single government clinic. Up to 10,000 people visit the clinics a day. More in this VOA report.
Clean, hot water, the most basic healthcare tool. Until now, unavailable at most government clinics in impoverished Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland. Doctors say hand washing, hygiene, and sanitation are key to curbing the spread of illness. Coronavirus has claimed nearly 700 lives in this nation of just over 1 million people. In recent months, a multinational initiative has supplied every public clinic in the country with this precious tool by installing an outdoor solar-powered hand-washing station. VOA asked Eswatini's acting prime minister what seems like an obvious question. Why didn't the government do this before? Why wait for foreign donors? Well, he replied, it's not that easy for a cash-strapped government with limited manufacturing capability and an unreliable electricity supply. When the pandemic hit, he said, Eswatini struggled to acquire basic things like face masks.
One of the priorities was to build the clinics first, because you can't put the stuff here without clinics. As we were building the clinics, as we have 92 of them now, those public health facilities. The stakeholders came in, they wanted to assist, and we gladly accepted that. So everything is prioritized. Health is one of our major priorities, and this is why we thought building the clinics before we get the hot water would be ideal.
This clinic near the capital sees 600 patients a week. Nurse manager Lindiwe Magongo says they also use the hot water station to clean the clinic and brew tea for staff. It also breaks what she described as a stigma around hand washing.
Whenever we wash hands, it means we are going to eat. Going and washing hands all the time, it's an African. We grow up knowing that it's an African to keep on washing hands. Why? There's always that why. Why do you keep on washing your hands?
So how do you break the taboo? How do you break that?
This is going to break it. And COVID-19 has also helped us in breaking that.
A year ago, Australian solar energy entrepreneur Robert Fraser landed in Eswatini for 2 weeks of meetings. Then the pandemic struck, and as he sat in lockdown halfway across the world from home, he thought, why not do something? In that year, his company, with extra funding from the German government, has installed 92 of these $3,500 stations. It's simple, and that's the point.
There was a very obvious need, and we had the products, we had the relationships, the expertise to actually deliver a project that would really make a difference in a very short amount of time, and actually, to be frank, for a reasonably small amount of money.
Fraser stresses that he's not running a charity. They're a for-profit company, and this project has paved the way for a $100 million solar storage project in Eswatini. Health Minister Lizzie Nkosi says hand hygiene is a key weapon against the virus, and one that Eswatini needs while it launches its mass vaccination campaign in coming weeks.
It's not only bringing hot water in places where we would never have dreamt would have hot water, but is reinforcing age-old infection prevention measures that the ministry employs every time, whether we have an outbreak of measles, of diarrhea, an outbreak.
Don't take clean, hot water for granted, she said. In these challenging times, the Emaswati don't. Anita Powell, VOA News, Lubamba, Eswatini.
Well, that's all about time we had for the bulletin, but before we go the headlines once again, President Lazarus Chakwera has hailed the success of the Affordable Inputs Program. Some pockets of violence reported as voting concludes in the by-elections. UNICEF calls for child rights inclusion in the Malawi 2063 agenda. You have been with me, Anko Sonda. Thanks for watching.
Good evening, the weather update with me, Manli Ndaonga Pondani. Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Expect locally heavy thunderstorms and rain mainly over northern areas. Rain drizzles over central and southern areas as the intertropical convergence zone is confined to the north, while the southeasterly air mass is dominated over central and southern Malawi. Advisory. Stay away from fairy scattered rain associated with thunderstorms over more areas, and during the afternoon in the northern areas expect cloudy conditions and also scattered thunderstorms and rain tonight and during morning tomorrow. 1. In Mzuzu, the sun will rise at 12 minutes to 6 and set at 13 minutes to 6. In Lilongwe, the sun will rise at 10 minutes to 6 and set at 11 minutes to 6. In Blantyre, the sun will rise at 15 minutes to 6 and set at 17 minutes to 6. That's the weather update. I'm Mandi Ndaonga Pondani. Have a lovely night.
Define your surroundings with the color of your choice.